Hey there and welcome back to XCOM. My name is Pete and today we complete another episode of our XCOM Enemy Within Ironman Impossible walkthrough. In the last episode we had our first encounter with Muton elites and a Sectopod. We somehow got out of that alive and even unlocked the Shield Buster achievement, and then we wrapped things up in the Foundry where we ordered a Shiv as well as a few upgrades. And today we will once again head back to engineering to start the episode, because I think we have enough money to afford a second blaster launcher. Now, I may have mentioned this before, my plan for our second heavy Andrea is to eventually turn her into a mech trooper, so this is not necessarily a long-term investment, but with Sectopods and Muton elites now popping up in missions, I think it could still help us. In any case, we do have plenty of credits at the moment as a result of the last mission, so I think we can afford a few precautionary expenses. And that would be all. Let us now start scanning and see where the episode takes us. Right, up first we unlock the laser cannon for the heavy weapons platform, but since the Shiv itself has not yet been unlocked, we can't really do anything here at the moment. And the same is true for the Sentinel drone. Without a Shiv to accompany the drone, this project is pretty much useless, so let's carry on. Alright, here we can now see Luisa Santoso has returned to active duty. That is of course great to hear, as is the completion of the Advanced Servo Motors project. This now improves the movement speed of both mechs and Shivs, which we are currently not using, but maybe down the line. We also successfully complete the last research project for now. With the light plasma rifle we have now unlocked every single weapon in the game, and at least for the time being we also don't have any other research projects to take care of. Right, and just moments before we can construct the Hyperwave Relay as well as our first Illyrium generator, we sadly have a Terra mission pop up. This time the aliens have chosen Moscow, so let's head over there and see what we can do. Okay, so since this is a Terra mission, we need to be mobile and aggressive, and for that reason both Michelle and Annette will sit this one out. I expect us to run into at least one Sectopod in this mission, so I think we will need all the firepower we can get. Now, first of all, let's correct a mistake I made in the last episode and actually make Kim our squad leader. With a will score of 96, she is best suited among those who will be coming. Alongside her, we will, as always, have Emilia and Andrea. Assault Adam Work will also stay with us for one more mission, and the remaining two spots will be filled by the familiar faces of Rosilius, Wargull and Luisa Santoso. In my opinion, Rosilius is the better choice for this mission compared to Michelle. Not only does he have a higher aim stat, but he's also fully maxed out and can potentially shoot twice per turn, and against tough enemies like Sectopods for example, that can be extremely valuable. Now, under normal circumstances, I would of course try to give Michelle all the experience points she can get, but this is a Terra mission and we will be pressed for time, so unfortunately I don't think we can afford that. Now, equipment-wise, you're not seeing anything overly spectacular here. Rosilius receives the same loadout that Michelle is normally using, Andrea has equipped the blaster launcher as well as the skeleton suit for extra mobility, and the ghost armor that Annette was previously using is now going on Emilia. Emilia can also upgrade her pistol and exchange the arc thrower for a grenade. I don't really think we will have time to do a lot of capturing on this one. Now, for our assaults, we will use Adam here as our slightly more ranged build. With a scope and a plasma rifle, he should be good to do some damage over medium distances, while Miss Santoso receives the alloy cannon to be the person that we send in up close and personal. Should our alien enemies take too long, she can also use the mimic beacon to hopefully increase the speed with which we complete this mission. Again, time will be of the essence in this one, even though our first priority is of course, as always, to keep everyone safe and healthy.
Central, Strike 1 is locked and loaded, awaiting drop orders.
Affirmative, Big Sky. Squad is cleared to engage hostile targets. Watch your fire out there. We have civilians on the ground. Repeat, civilians are in the AO.
Right, so we find ourselves on top of a highway here, and from what I remember this appears to be a comparatively small map, so we will probably detect enemies pretty soon. As always, we also have 18 civilians scattered around here somewhere. If we rescue at least 14, that will earn us the excellent rating, and that is something we will try to achieve, albeit not at any cost. Winning this mission and keeping everyone alive is still the #1 concern.
Got it. Moving.
Okay, our first move with Sharky Santoso here immediately detects the first group of enemies, and we are dealing with a trio of heavy floaters. However, due to the rarity of full cover on this map, Louisa's position is also a bit unfortunate. She can't really see that much of the area that lies ahead of our group, but luckily we have Rosilius in our squad, so let's do something about that.
Big brother is online.
And there we go, the battle scanner uncovers a nest of chrysalids. At this point in the game, actually a comparatively easy enemy to deal with. Still, should we have to take out all 6 of these enemies here at the same time, that could become a little challenging. Now, moving on, we will activate Ghost Mode with Emilia, because I would like her to move into cover behind the car here, but I wasn't quite sure if that would get her into range of the floaters. As you can see here, it actually did, so it's a good thing she remains hidden for now and the group remains untriggered. With the rest of our squad, we can now move into pretty obvious cover positions as well, and then we can put everyone on Overwatch and see how this battle unfolds. Alright, we already heard some mechanical stomping in the background here, and the chrysalids are unfortunately also moving right towards us. Now, Emilia's reaction shot did go wide, but we have Kim, Adam and Andrea as backups, so let's see what they can do. Okay, so no luck with our reaction shots it seems. Firing that did reveal Emilia, however, which in turn now also activates the floaters. And here we are with a situation that does indeed look a little challenging. The chrysalids are not really what I'm worried about at the moment. The floaters on the other hand might be a bigger problem, especially considering that 2 of them have actually moved back instead of towards us. Now on the bright side, we did not lose a civilian on this turn, so we should probably get moving here and make sure it stays that way. And just like on the last turn, we will start things off with Louisa, and this might be a bit risky, but we will be going deep into the enemy group here, otherwise I don't see how we'll be able to take out all of the floaters in one turn.
Get to the ship and keep your head down.
And luckily she arrives without alerting any additional hostiles. She even saves a civilian along the way, and we can now go for the rapid fire flanking shot. Alright, that is 1 floater down, and for number 2 we'll now switch over to Rosilius. His headshot from afar has a very high chance to land a critical hit, and hopefully that is enough to make things easier.
Dead and gone.
Okay, and I think with that the worst of this fight is actually already behind us. The remaining 4 enemies should be manageable unless we are extremely unlucky. Now for the last floater we will move Miss Solberg into a flanking position. She won't be able to kill it, but let's see how much damage she can do. Alright, 12 points on the critical hit, that is absolutely fantastic, because it means that we do not have to waste a rocket with Andrea here. Instead we can simply finish this with one of her many grenades. And this leaves us now with only the 3 chrysalids, which should not be that much of a problem. For the first one we can move up with Kim, who has a guaranteed hit, and with that a guaranteed kill. And this was actually alien kill number 500 of the series, finally unlocking the Pale Horse achievement. Now Adam here does have guaranteed hits against either one of the remaining enemies, but a single shot might not do enough damage, so let's take 2 91% rapid fire shots instead. And that's it, now we're down to only 1 single enemy, and for this one we can use the second shot of Rosilius' double tap.
He's down.
And as I had feared, we do in fact have a Sectopod present on this mission, and it is not even giving us a single turn to get set here. This group is now active and we have also lost our first civilian, so this could get interesting. Now, ideally, we are starting things off with a shredder rocket from Andrea here. She can just barely reach the Sectopod. Unfortunately though, there is a civilian in the way, who is sitting right on the edge of the blast radius. So to avoid another civilian casualty, we will have to rescue this guy before shooting, and we will do that with Emilia in just a second. Before she can move though, we need to burn the Sectopod's overwatch, and that is what we use Adam for.
Already there.
There's heavy fire in this zone.
X-ray on the move. They're flanking us.
Now, there was a small chance of him detecting another group of aliens while moving into cover near the tank here, but as you can see, he arrives safely and can in a moment also take aim. Before he does though, let's get Emilia into position and the civilian out of here.
Go. You're safe. Go.
And that now clears the area for Andrea's shredder rocket, which I think is essential if we want to take the Sectopod down in one turn. Alright, 4 points of damage and the Sectopod's armor is shredded. Let us now take our guaranteed hit with Rosilius here, who unfortunately can only shoot once this turn. Emilia herself, however, also has a decent hit chance, so let's see what she can do. And finally then, we can go for 2 rapid-fire shots with Adam. Okay, nothing but hits so far, including a big-time critical hit from Adam. This leaves the Sectopod with only 3 hit points, so let's move up Sharky Santoso, make sure she stays out of the explosion range, and then hopefully finish this. Alright, Sectopod destroyed. That leaves us now only with the 2 drones. One of them already took a bit of damage from the Sectopod's explosion, and since we do still have a move left with Kim here, let's see if she can't eliminate at least one of them.
Down. It just got hot in here.
Okay, it looks like this mission is staying true to its description as very difficult. Once again, without even giving us a single turn to catch our breath, we now have a second Sectopod appear. The drone that we had to leave alive then also takes aim at one of the civilians in the area, but luckily it only does 1 single point of damage, and with that the poor fellow actually survives the encounter. As you can hear though, someone else over in the shadows here is not quite so lucky. We have actually just lost 2 civilians on the very same turn, so the clock is definitely ticking. There are also plenty more civilians in the area surrounding the Sectopod, so once again we likely need to be careful with explosives. Interestingly enough, however, we are actually able to aim a shredder rocket with heavy CFD lupi, and the blast radius here should be big enough to also get rid of all the drones.
With pleasure.
Alright, lovely. All the drones are down and 7 hit points of the Sectopod have been removed. Let us now keep going with Sniper Wargull, who can once again shoot twice this turn. And already the Sectopod looks like a much more manageable task here. At this point though, we have to move the rest of our soldiers a bit closer, and as always we start things off with Mr. Work to waste the Sectopod's overwatch.
Got a lot of heat on me.
And with an 84% hit chance on his rapid fire, Adam can now take 2 shots. Let's see if they both connect. And there we go. For some reason the second shot did not actually display a damage value, but our enemy now only has 3 hit points left, so if Emilia here can land her shot, then we should be good to go. Alright, lovely. Another Sectopod goes down, and we even have our full move left with Assault Sharky Sentoso, as well as with Heavy Andrea Cook. Now, Luisa will be the one we send out first to scout ahead, because I'm pretty sure that we will find more enemies in the shadows near the bus here. There are a decent number of civilians scattered around that, so I think the next and potentially last group of aliens should also be nearby. The Sectopod corpse in the meantime has already vanished while the camera was not on it. This is actually something that is starting to annoy me a little bit, and I might actually install a small mod for that, so that enemy corpses remain on the map until the mission is finished.
Get to the chopper.
Okay, looks like we are in fact dealing with yet another Sectopod here. Yes, this is number 3 of the mission, and I am honestly not quite sure how long we'll be able to keep doing this. Now, unless I am mistaken, this should actually be the last group of enemies here, but still our squad is beginning to stretch thinner and thinner, so we basically have no other choice but to use a full dash here with Andrea, otherwise our enemy might not be in rocket range for the next turn, and that could be very bad.
Affirmative. Moving out. Here they come.
Right, so it looks like it was in fact Andrea who got spotted here, but honestly that is not that big of a problem. It keeps our enemies focused on us rather than on the civilians, and I think we would have attacked them on this turn anyway. Speaking of which, let's open things up here with a rocket from Andrea herself. One of the drones actually went inside of the bus, and I'm not quite sure if it's covered here, but even if it isn't, we have bigger things to worry about, I think.
Going hot.
Okay, so one drone down, the other one is in fact still alive, but most importantly, the Sectopod did take 7 points of damage. Coincidentally, it is also within Luisa's close and personal range, so she can now take a free 95% shot without wasting any part of her turn. And that connects. It doesn't get us the critical though, but she still has a full turn left to move and then potentially shoot again. Before we get to that, however, let's aim for the headshot here with Rosilius. A critical hit at this time could be absolutely huge for us. And indeed he connects for 9 points of damage. Now I think our 2 assaults should be able to finish this on their own. First of all, they have to move though, and as always Adam can go first to burn the Overwatch.
I'm on the move. Incoming fire!
With Luisa still in the explosion range, he won't shoot though. Instead we can pull Sharky Sentoso back just a single tile here, and then she can go for 2 rapid-fire shots from full cover. Okay, first a miss, but then it's made up for by a critical on the next shot. The straight-up kill would have been better of course, but we are still in a very good position here. Now with Adam here we can go for the killing blow, but even if he takes only a single shot that still has a 15% chance to miss, so instead let us not leave anything to chance and do this with a grenade. And there we go, our 3rd Sectopod of the mission has been defeated. Now I think the drone here is the last remaining enemy, and because we played it safe we do actually have a move left with Emilia, so let's get her in close and then go for the kill.
I'm on the move. He's down.
Operational objectives completed.
And there we go, another terror mission has been completed, and against all odds we actually achieved the excellent rating. I will admit, midway through this mission I had kind of given up on that, but in hindsight, bringing only the most experienced squad members on this mission was probably a very wise decision.
Great work, Commander. I hope all of our deployments go this well.
So here we are, back in the base, of course with no promotions to take care of, and also with a not so extensive list of loot. We did obtain some weapon fragments though, so that might be useful down the line. The effects of this mission on our global panic levels are then really not all that interesting. Again, at this point in the game, panic is pretty much a non-factor, at least as long as we keep winning our missions.
We will be in touch, Commander.
So here we are, having passed the midway mark of September, and despite several Sectopod encounters, still in good shape. Let us hope that it stays that way for the next episode as well. We are definitely due for at least one more achievement in that one, because the construction of the Hyperwave Relay is just a few hours away. So stay tuned for that, and in the meantime I hope you have enjoyed this episode, and if you did, then I would of course be very happy if you could leave a thumbs up. If you like what I'm doing and want to support me and my channel further, then you can of course go ahead and subscribe if you haven't done so already, or perhaps check out and maybe even pledge to the Pete Complete Patreon. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.